Today I'm going to show you how easy it is to make a crispy duck with pancakes, just like a Peking restaurant. So we're going to start off with our ingredients, our first ingredients, which is our duck. And today I'm using 4 duck legs. You can use a whole duck, and around Christmas time I often like to use what's called a canard gras, which is the big foie gras ducks. They're perfect because they need long, slow cooking, which is exactly what this is about. So this is a very complicated dish that I have made simple. That's the idea, is that anyone can make it. You just need a bit of time, but there's very little effort. So we start off with the duck legs. We're going to put the duck legs into the pan. Let's get the pan. Okay, like so. And then we're going to add garlic cloves. So I've just peeled them, just going to throw them in. For 4 duck legs, I've got quite big garlic cloves here, so I've used about 5. I'm going to put in some ginger. Oops, should have cut that before I started filming. So, like so. One more piece. Like it nice and spicy. And then some star anise. And you see these ones are a little bit broken up, but it doesn't matter because it's just for the flavour. We're going to get rid of them later. So, a little shake of those. You want about six whole ones. And now I'm going to get some soy sauce, and I'm going to add this to the pan. And then I'm going to top up with water. So just enough water to cover the duck. And then I'm going to put that on the heat, bring it to the boil, and then reduce it to simmer. And this is going to simmer for between 2 and 2.5 hours. All you need to do is every now and then just check it, make sure that the duck is submerged underneath the liquid and that it's not boiling. And then after a couple of hours, just pierce the legs to see whether the flesh is cooked properly. You're looking for it to be really, really tender, almost falling off the bone. Okay, and once you reach that point, you can then turn off the heat under the duck, and then we can look at doing the next step. If the duck has just come to the boil, I'm just going to turn down so it starts to simmer. And just like that, we place the lid and let it do its thing. And we'll leave this be for the next couple of hours. And in between time, I'm going to make the pancakes. I can prepare the cucumber and spring onion and sit down and have a cup of tea. That's all there is to do. Now I'm going to make the pancakes. So these are really simple. I like to use an American cup, but I have put in my book the measurements in grams and in milliliters for those that don't have one. But what I like about the American cup is just very simple, because all you want is literally 1 cup of flour to 1 cup of boiling water. Now I suggest you add the water in stages, because no flour is the same, and so you might find that you need less or more depending on the flour. Mix it together. I like using chopsticks, it's the best thing, until you've got a dough that you can work with. And then tip it out onto a floured board and start to knead. So that took all of 2 or 3 minutes just to knead, so it's nice and springy. Boing, boing. And then I'm leaving it in a bowl shape on a flour board, and I'm going to leave it like that for about 20 minutes. But I'm going to cover it with a damp, clean tea towel, and I'm particularly using the Domaine Jones tea towel. And if you join Katie and me tomorrow, where our tasting with naked wines, you might have an opportunity to win one of these yourselves. They're pretty fun. After 20 minutes, re-knead your dough and then roll out into a sausage shape, just like this. You want to make sure that it's pretty much even as possible all the way along, and then you're going to cut it into little pieces. So we're going to go cut it in half, then half again, then half, again, and again, and so on. Okay, so after we cut the sausage into little pieces, then take one of those pieces and roll it between your palms to create these little balls. Okay, you want to try to make them as even as possible, but don't over worry that one. And then with the palm of your hand, you're just going to press down like so. You see they're very sticky. We use a lot of flour in doing these, and we're going to then roll them out. And you want to roll them as thin as you possibly can, and then put them into a lined bamboo steamer, and you put them over a pan of boiling water and steam them. And the idea is that you put in one and then add another on top, roll out another, add it on top, and so on and so forth. I like to do this in advance, and then I reheat them over the steamer when we're ready to eat. Okay, so all of the pancakes are now done. They've all been rolled out and steaming away. You can see that they're all on top of each other. So I've turned out the heat. I'm just going to leave those like that and let them cool down. And later on, when I want to use them, I'll just put them back over the pan of boiling water to re-steam. One of the things you need to be aware of when you're rolling the pancakes is that they use a lot of flour because they're very sticky. Also, I personally find that Louis' little rolling pin is one of the best things for these pancakes, rather than a big adult size one. And I'm just going to check the duck now. The duck's been simmering away for quite some time, and it's getting there. It's getting there. You see, it's nice. It's not quite soft enough. Yeah, so I really want that knife to go in with ease, and it's still a little bit tough. So we're just going to put it back on and leave it to cook for another half hour or so. Okay, the duck is now ready, so I've turned it out, and I'm going to take the duck out of the pan, and I'm going to put it onto a draining rack so that it can dry out. So it's going to be nice and dry, but I'm going to keep all that lovely sauce. Now we're going to use that, all that liquid, the poaching liquid, to make our hoisin sauce. So here we go. Duck goes onto the draining rack. Like that. Take them out. Shake off any bits of star anise or garlic or ginger that might have fallen on it. And once we remove the duck, we're going to strain the sauce, throw away those extra bits, and then we're going to separate the fat. Try and take off as much of the fat as possible. And that fat you can keep for your roast potatoes. You can put that in the freezer and have it whenever you want. Bear in mind though, it will have a slightly oriental flavour to it because of the star anise and the ginger. Okay, so we're just going to leave the duck here to dry off. In fact, you can make this duck the day before to this point. Okay, and then you just need to finish it off, and we're going to finish it off by covering it with some of the hoisin sauce and then putting it into a hot oven to crisp it up. And that's that. How simple is that? I'm just reducing the stock here. What I've done is added some chili, some Chinese 5-spice, cinnamon stick, some red onion. I've added honey, brown sugar. And as you can see, I'm bringing it to a rolling boil, and I'm going to just let that reduce. How long you do that, it depends on how much stock you've got left. So you want it to, once you feel that it's reduced and it's concentrated enough, you can take it off the heat and strain it, return it to the pan with a large spoonful of plum jam. Actually, I use grape jelly, just simply because I make grape jelly because I get a lot of grapes given to me here in this region. And then thicken it with some cornstarch. You need it to be that sort of sticky consistency. So there we have it. We've got our ducks all prepared, our sauce is made, and I'm just going to literally douse the ducks both all over, front and back, with the sauce so that they're nice and so they're thoroughly covered. And then I'm going to put them under a very hot, a very hot oven to crisp up the skin and reheat. And once done, you remove them, put them on a plate, and you can literally pull this skin and the flesh apart with a couple of forks. And then you're ready. Heat up your pancakes, serve your sauce, and then finally shred some cucumber and some spring onions. And here we have homemade Peking duck. Join Katie and Naked Wines and I tomorrow, the 24th of November at 8 o'clock UK time to see how we get on enjoying this with Katie's Wines.